On now what you can expect as we get into the rest of this afternoon. We're still seeing the snow starting to taper off across most of the area, but that wintry mix will continue south and east of DFW, so you still need to be aware of that. Still going to have some hazardous driving conditions. Now as we head into this evening, the storm should begin to move out altogether, but we're going to be talking about some bitterly cold temperatures settling in across North Texas overnight. Watch out for some slick, icy roads out there, and those temperatures, yes, they will be falling into the teens. For the next couple of mornings, we're going to be dealing with low and middle teens for those overnight lows, so we'll still have some issues there with the freezing temperatures before things do begin to warm up. Now, as far as the winter storm warning is concerned, you can see most or a large part of North Texas, especially out to our west, including Fort Worth and Dallas. Most of the Metroplex has been taken out of the winter storm warning. Still goes until 8 p.m. for areas off to our east, getting down toward Corsicana and Athens, Palestine, where we have significant ice and maybe accumulating there with that mixture of the freezing rain and sleet continuing. But the rest of North Texas, as you see, has been taken out of the winter storm warning. So that's where we're going to see most of the precip. Now, taking you out to the U.N.T. campus in Denton right now, it is 15 out there, and you can see the snow cover. A few folks trying to get out there on the roads, but you still do need to take it easy as we head into the afternoon and evening hours tonight. 26, getting out to Dallas, feels like it's 18. So again, we're going to have temperatures that won't be above freezing today, and we'll still have those wind chills down in the teens. Here's what it looks like on radar right now. You see most of the snow has tapered off, maybe a flake or two, a couple of flurries around the Metroplex, but that's where we're going to see the bulk of the precip well south of I-20 in our southeastern counties getting on into East Texas. So it is going to stay cold and cloudy the rest of today with those highs only in the upper 20s and those wind chills in the teens. We'll continue our coverage on our digital platforms coming up.
Live from Dallas-Fort Worth, this is WFAA News.
Thank you for joining us on WFAA. I'm Kara Sewell. Let's show you what it looks like outside right now. The good news is single-digit temps are no more, but now we have new snow on top of what we had Sunday night. Millions of Texans still without power right now to heat their homes. And those power outages across Texas dipped below 3 million this morning, but they're jumping above that again. So ERCOT gave an update just a short time ago. Cleo Green has been monitoring the situation since it started, and looking at the reactions to this latest press conference, people are still not satisfied, and a lot of reason the numbers are just not going down yet.
No, they're not, Kara, and we really at this point do not have any idea when they will. I feel like this is the most information that we got from ERCOT officials during that press conference about an hour ago. ERCOT officials basically told us that their system was not winterized, and when those temperatures really started to drop, they just couldn't handle the demand on the grid. They said that's why they needed to start rolling out with those outages. In fact, the CEO of ERCOT said if they didn't start those outages, well, there really could have been some shock to the system, causing a blackout in the state of Texas, and well, that could have taken months to fix. Take a listen.
That the fundamental decision that was made in the middle of the night, 1 a.m. on Monday, to have the outages imposed was a wise decision by the operators that we have here. If we had waited and not done outages, not reduced demand to reflect what was going on the overall system, we could have drifted towards a blackout. And I know that people feel like what we're seeing feels like a blackout, but the blackout that can occur if you don't keep the supply and demand in balance could last months. It's not just outages. You lose all electricity on a system, and it could take months. It could take longer to rebuild that. And Texas would be in an indeterminately long situation without power, even more extensively than we are with these outages.
Right, ERCOT officials and grid operators, well, they said that they're doing everything they can to get the power on for millions of people right now. At this point, we're taking a look at ERCOT's outage map right now, and it stands 3.2 million households are still without power. This is ERCOT's outage map here. Anything that you see in the orange and the yellow and the red, well, people are not doing good in those areas right now. This map needs to be completely blue. And I know some people have been asking me, well, Cleo, if everything needs to be blue, are people in El Paso, up in those rural counties, why do they have power? Well, they are on a completely different grid, and you can see that here on ERCOT's map here. Everything in blue is what they control, and that's why they're not doing so good right now. They're dealing with a lot of issues across the state. They have more than 680 plants, but when those temperatures started to drop, well, 60 to 80 of those plants pretty much were shut down, and they're really trying to figure out the supply and demand of energy on the grid, and I'm sure we'll get into that over the next few days. The big deal right now is when will people get their power back on? Some people have been without power for more than 48 hours, some people without power, gas, and running water. This is an issue statewide. I mean, if we're looking at CenterPoint Energy here in Houston, look at the deal out there. It is really, really bad. A little less than 41% of households in Houston have power. Kara, like I said, it's a messy situation. If we look at Encore right now, honestly, the amount of customers here, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Right now, more than 580,000 customers are without power here in North Texas. Kara, we've been talking to so many people on social media right now, and they're dealing with a lot of issues. They can't find hotel rooms to stay warm because a lot of them are booked, and a lot of people are seeing busted pipes right now in their apartments and in their homes, and they want to know who's going to pay for this, who's going to fix this. So there's a lot of questions still that need to be answered. But right now, ERCOT officials are saying, listen, they messed up. Their system was not winterized, and they weren't ready for this.
Okay, Cleo, thank you for the update. Yeah, I've been looking at those videos. Heartbreaking because you're helpless right now. Cities across the area are asking people and businesses to do their part to help conserve water and electricity. So Chris Sadeghi is live in Collin County with what that looks like. And I think they're basically saying we can all do our part, even if you have power.
Yeah, that is what everybody should be doing right now, conserving as much as possible, because the way things are going right now, it may very well be you who needs that energy somewhere along the line. That's just been the nature of these outages. Adding on top of that, we got a fresh layer of snowfall overnight in Collin County and much of the area. It's something that typically we'd love to get out and enjoy, build a snowman and what have you. Can't really do that with the situation with these outages though, because you don't know if you're gonna have a place to go back and warm up. But here's some shots of McKinney earlier, what it looked like from the sky when that snow came down. It got a pretty good amount. It was coming down fast and lots of flurries, adding to what was already on the ground, creating a little more work for those who can handle a snow shovel. But fun in the snow, just not appealing when you don't have a guaranteed place to warm up. Last night we saw a long line of cars along 380 backed up trying to get some firewood to heat their home, because energy companies are still at the mercy of ERCOT right now. Because over in Garland, we talked to the mayor this morning. He says the city has its own energy company. It's up, it's working, everything's online, yet they still have customers left in the cold and dark because of the ERCOT shed orders.
Which is very frustrating for every one of us. And I should tell people, there is at this time there is no damage to any of our GP&L infrastructure. Our lines, our substations, our power generation is all online, but is unfortunately being asked. We are being asked to bring the power back to try to help in all of everybody's efforts to stabilize the state power grid.
Now, to give you an idea how these shed orders are kind of affecting the situation with the outages, the mayor in Garland told us yesterday morning they had 46,000 people without power. By nighttime, they were able to get that number down to 15,000, but then this morning, ERCOT issued another shed order, so then the outages went back up by 8,000. So that's the situation they're dealing with as they try to balance out, stabilize, strategically get power all across the state. Now, the Garland mayor, though, did ask non-essential commercial customers, those businesses that are not essential, turn down any power you may be emitting. Turn off your signage, turn off your interior lights, because that is power that they can use. Any power they can get their hands on, they want to get it into people's homes where they need it the most. Kara, back to you.
Thanks, Chris, for the reminder. So for the very latest on the outages and to check the Encore map, head over to WFAA.com, or you can download our news app. We're constantly keeping you updated. Let's get back over to Greg. So in looking at Chris, I couldn't really tell if there was some snowflakes still falling or if that was wind.
It might have been the wind, might be blowing what's out there, but maybe just a few flakes flying around Dallas and Fort Worth. But we have seen that really taper off, and that trend's going to continue around most of the Metroplex. Love Field right now, 26 degrees, feeling like it's 18. We saw the snow plows out a little bit earlier this morning, shoveling off those runways out there. That was the case out at DFW as well, where it's 24, feeling like it's 12. So this is what we're going to be dealing with, the frigid temperatures, the cloudy skies, even though at least around the Metroplex, the wintry precip is winding down. And it's been a while since we've been above freezing, and it will be a while longer. As of 5 p.m. on Saturday, we dipped below 30 degrees, got below freezing there. Right now, we're sitting now at 24 right now. So it puts us at 91 hours. We're at right now below freezing, and we're going to be adding to this total. It won't be probably until the afternoon, maybe on Friday, we hope, before we get above freezing. Now you see those temperatures in the upper teens and low mid 20s out there, 22 in Fort Worth, 25 as we get out to Terrell, along with McKinney right now at 23 in Greenville. But again, those wind chills, they're going to be down in the teens. So here's what it looks like on radar right now. You see where the snowfall is and that wintry mix heading down I-35 and I-45. Still going to have some issues over the southern and southeastern portions of North Texas as far as the icy weather is concerned. But as we look at our computer models, you can see heading on into this afternoon and evening, all that continues to taper off. Can't rule out, again, a few flurries, a few flakes, maybe a little sleet mixed in across the western portions of our area back toward Fort Worth and Dallas. But all that should be winding down as we head on into this evening and certainly during the overnight tonight. But we are starting to see those snowfall totals come in. So let's go over to meteorologist Kaylee Dion with more on that. Kaylee?
Yeah, Greg, we're seeing anywhere from about an inch, a little less than an inch, to 4 inches of snow. There's higher totals along the Red River, but for the DFW area, that's where we're sitting for snowfall totals. Here's a look at some of the totals that we've had come in. Sherman, 3 inches, Plano, 2.5, Bowie, 4, DFW Airport at 1 inch. That makes the two storms together a total of 5 inches for the month of February. That makes February 2021 the 4th snowiest February on record at DFW Airport. So a lot of records broken this week. Now we just really want to get rid of the snow, and the sun not only is going to lift your mood, but once we get some sunshine out here, it's also going to help to melt the snow. Even if the temperature is below freezing, we can still melt the snow by the sun warming that ground above freezing. So we just need the sunshine. And so here's a look at that sunshine planner. Sometimes saying that fast is hard. We're not going to have much as we go through the day today, a little bit as we go into the day Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be fantastic. And that is why when you look at Greg's forecast, you see those temperatures warming up quite a bit. Once we get into the weekend, we get that snow melt as well as those temperatures warming up. So we are looking forward to that. Now let's check in with Cheryl.
Yeah, Kaylee, we are certainly looking forward to that. I love that you ended on a sunshine planner because we all could use some sunshine around here. You guys hang in there. We're going to get through this week. Look, across the Metroplex, I know we've been saying over and over again, we haven't seen a whole lot of vehicles out on the road, but the truth is the vehicles that we have seen out there have been quite a few incidents across the Metroplex. One of those incidents still working right now. This is just as you get over Lake Ray Hubbard 30 westbound, just before you hit Horizon. Now, I want to tell you in regards to this accident, that's a big rig, by the way, off to the right hand side. They've been trying to get that big guy cleared out. He's skid off to the side over on I-30 westbound, again right at FM 740. The thing is, you really can't get around this one. So once they close the highway down again, which they have been doing since they've been trying to get this big rig cleared out, they've been closing the highway down periodically. So look, if you have to get around this particular incident, you can exit early, take 205 to 66, but then you're going to have to hop on the Bush Turnpike as one option if you're trying to get back over to 30. Again, that's just one option. I'm sure there are plenty more maybe that you know about, but just be prepared for that one because that big rig has been out there for about the last hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours. So that's the biggest problem that we have working out there right now. Wanted to remind you guys, if you do see incidents out there, but because TxDOT systems aren't working properly because of the outages, you can call this number 452-9292, of course 1-800 drytexas.org to report any incidents that you see out there, because again, those cameras and systems aren't working like they usually work. I wanted to also mention this. DCTA, they are offering free rides, you guys, up in Denton County. If you need a free ride to a warming station, certainly some good information. You can check their website. I also tweeted this information out if you want to learn more about getting to those warming stations up in Denton County. Kara, back over to you.
Thanks for the update, Tashar. Great information there. So we're seeing quite a few problems in Tarrant County as well. Let's get over to Eric Alvarez, who has made his way to Fort Worth. Hi, Eric.
Yeah, good morning, Kara. You know, the power outages get a lot of attention, and rightfully so, but it's important not to lose sight of the fact that water issues continue to be a major concern here in Tarrant County. Just take a look at what we came across here near the corner of University and Lancaster. Check it out, a closer look here. Water bubbling up from the sidewalk. One worker telling me it's absolutely weather related, and it's one of a number of issues here and in surrounding communities. A viewer in neighboring Grapevine sent me this video showing water from burst sprinkler pipes pouring through the light fixtures at a vacant unit in the Grapevine 2499 apartments last night. He says the management was able to cut the water off after about 3 hours, but definitely not something the residents there like to see. Now, as many as 200,000 people in Fort Worth and surrounding communities were without clean water after a series of power outages at area plants. Fort Worth Water is working to restore service to families, some of whom have said they've been without water since Monday. Arlington says it has no plans to interrupt water service and is asking residents to limit usage as much as possible. And Keller is under a boil water notice, and crews are working to restore pressure and as a result restore service to the families there. The latest update out of Keller around 7 a.m. was that nearly all of the residents should at least have a trickle in their homes, and they're asking everyone to keep the faucets shut as long as they can so they can restore the pressure. But the big takeaway here, whether you live in Tarrant County or anywhere else in North Texas, if you have running water, do your very best to conserve it. There are plenty of people who are not so lucky, and whether you have running water or not, do your very best to keep an eye on those pipes, as they can freeze and they can burst, and we're likely to see more of that in the coming days. Kara, back to you.
Yeah, I hate seeing that. Thanks, Eric. So many people in North Texas are not just without power, as we mentioned, water. So a 1-2 punch we're seeing in a lot of communities. Denton County Judge Andy Eade says the statewide power outage has hit multiple gas stations. Generators to get them going again are hard to come by. And not only that, so is the fuel to power them. We went to 8 different gas stations around Denton yesterday, and none had fuel. Denton County has issued a disaster declaration at this point, asking the state for help getting gas to the area. Let's check in with Alex Rozier. I understand you're in 35 right now up near Louisville. How are the roads looking?
Hey, Kara, yeah, we are. I want to give you a live look at what we are experiencing right now. We just passed the turnpike. You can see a bit of precipitation on our camera. I'm going to get that to go away here with our wipers, but I want to tell you a little bit about what we're seeing. We've seen a very similar shot to what you're looking at right now from our drive from Dallas. We left the WFAA newsroom and headed north, and we're going to make our way up into Denton County here. But from what we saw yesterday, we were on the road at the same time. This is a bit of a difference, a lot more slick, especially on bridges and overpass on and off ramps. I do want to also tell our viewers that if you are headed out today and you need to go on the roads, not only take your time, but also give yourself a little time if you need to stop for food or gas, as it's just very hit and miss as to if you will find an open gas station or open restaurant as you hit the road today. So we're going to be monitoring conditions for you throughout the afternoon, but as you look live here at 35 as we approach the Sam Rayburn Tollway, this is what we're experiencing right now at 1242. Kara, we'll send it back into you.
Yeah, definitely treacherous out there. Thank you so much for the update, Alex. Be safe. So if you still have power, try to conserve it. We can't say it enough. Set your thermostat to 68 or lower. Unplug things you are not using. Set your ceiling fans to rotate clockwise to force warm air down. And don't use large appliances during peak hours, really any hours right now. Today is the start of Lent. for Catholics. But as you can imagine, with the weather conditions and the pandemic, today is going to look a lot different. Traditionally, you would see people with crosses on their foreheads, but not so much, at least not today, due to weather conditions. Many parishes in the Diocese of Dallas are closed and their Ash Wednesday services are canceled. Some churches will distribute ashes at the end of Mass on Sunday. Getting ashes is not a requirement, but has become an important observance for many. So you can check with your parish for details on what they've decided to do. And this is insane, but it shows you what people are willing to do across Texas and what they're having to deal with right now. This is in Austin. The line to get into the grocery store weaves around the block. We need food though, right? So people are standing outside in the cold. My dad was actually doing that earlier, not in that long of a line, but it was long. And for those who aren't standing outside, well, they're sitting in their cars. This is the line in Houston for McDonald's. You get what you can take, right? Homestands interrupted to conserve power. The Mavericks game scheduled for tonight against the Pistons is postponed at the request of the governor. The Stars have postponed tomorrow night's game as well. It's their third delayed game this week, again, to conserve power there. To stay up to date with the very latest, we have a live blog running on the front of our webpage and our app. I mean, it has everything. You can also stream our newscasts and any other breaking news events there as well. So make sure that you check that out because we know that there are constant updates and we want to make sure you get them and you get them all in one place. Okay, thanks for being with us. Stay safe, stay warm, and if you can, stay home. We'll see you again at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock.